You're listening to Factual America.
I think there's this innate fantasy that kids have of the amusement park without rules. This isn't Pinocchio with Pleasure Island. This is what Westworld is about. This is what Jurassic Park is about. Like, this is a trope, a staple of fiction. This idea that you can go to an amusement park and do whatever you want. And that's what Action Park was. And it was this release valve of tension and pressure and everything. It was in a place where the atmosphere, from the moment you were on the ground, you knew that the rules of society, the rules of God and man, the rules of the law just did not apply here. And what does that do when you're a 14 or 15-year-old kid who already feels a little invulnerable, who already feels a little invincible, and is suddenly being handed beers on top of it? Like, it just is this mix that really just added up.
Yeah. I mean, are there any places like this anymore?
not amusement parks. There's a thing. Here's the thing. Like, Action Park wasn't unique in the sense that you could do these dangerous experiences. The reason one reason this movie struck a chord is because kids were already doing this. If you didn't grow up in the Jersey area and go to Action Park, you might have been making stupid BMX ramps or skateboard ramps that were gonna kill somebody, or jumping into quarries or cliffs, whatever it's gonna be. What Chris was talking about before. Action Park was a gated amusement park and had the veneer of safety of like a Disney World as a result of it, when it was anything but. So these experiences, they exist to this day if you are an enterprising latchkey kid. And of course, there are many fewer enterprising latchkey kids today than there were in the 1980s because of smartphones, because of parenting tactics changing, because the world has changed in so many ways.
But it wasn't just the kids. I mean, you mentioned in the film, we had Waterworld. Amazing, you've got an amusement park that's on either side of like a major highway.
Major highway running right through the middle.
Runs right through it, not with like safety fencing or whatever. I mean, and there was also Motor World, which was basically legalized drunk driving, wasn't it?
It was drunk driving the ride is what it was. And one of my favorite lines in the movie is when a former employee says the design was flawed because the racing cars are right next to the beer tent. And that's exactly what it was. And these weren't go-karts like you'd find at like a typical amusement park. These were full-on Formula One style racing cars, Lola brand racing cars that could go upwards of 60 miles per hour. And people would just ignore the track. They drive them off the track. They chase employees like a bullfighter. Employees would at night take these things onto Route 94, onto the highway after getting liquored up. That was their after-hours entertainment. This place was wild.
And Gene, the founder of the park, wanted to give trophies out to people who had bested the best time on these goat cars. That's how fast these things were. Like, you can beat your own record on these things.
They would display it up a timer, and he wanted it to be where if you beat a certain time, like bikini girls with champagne bottles would just come out of nowhere. That was his vision.
There's always this. I mean, because some people may have, our listeners may not have seen the film, but so there's part of it. Just every time I laugh about this, I almost want to just catch myself because
it's not a lot. It's a different type of laughter. The laughter of Action Park isn't a design joke. It's not a comedy routine. It's the laughter of a brain having no other way to process what they're experiencing or what they're hearing. Laughter is something that happens when you can't cry, you can't scream, you can't do anything else. All you can do is laugh. And when you hear people, especially people who literally survived going to Action Park, laugh about, I think it's really important to understand what kind of laughter it is. It's the laughter of narrowly escaping a saber-toothed tiger. It's not the laughter of a stand-up comedy routine. Action Park was a dangerous place, and everybody knew it was dangerous. The movie is called Class Action Park, which is one of several contemporaneous nicknames the park had by its regulars, by its employees. It was called Accident Park. It was called Traction Park. It was called Class Action Park. It was called Fracture Park. Sometimes it was called Death Park. And these names came about because people knew what this place was. They knew this is a place you could actually get hurt. But what the owner, Gene, realized was that every time there was a newspaper headline about an injury, about how dangerous this place was, it didn't deter people. It drove them in. People just came. They flooded in. And it became, before social media, kids in school had what we'll call like the whisper network of the schoolyard. There's gossip. Kids are talking about what's cool, what video games, what comic books, what TV shows, whatever it is they like. Action Park in the tri-state area became a staple of the schoolyard whisper network of kids saying, holy cow, you have to see this place. They come back to school on Monday and they'd be showing off scars. They'd be showing off their injuries. It would be rite of passage. And kids knew, I have to go there myself and suffer my lumps. I have to go there myself and get injured, or I'm a wimp. I'm a coward. I'm a something. And in New Jersey in the 1980s, there's nothing worse you could be.